We need excellent tour guides to help us navigate our way through the landmarks and landmines of our cultural identities and experiences. We need help with the narration of life, someone to help us realize we have stories and we tell them selectively. We need someone to help us examine that selectivity to discover what we're leaving out and how it shapes our identities and perceptions. We need someone to help us notice the details we would otherwise miss. Someone to tell us the stories that make the monuments meaningful. Someone to open our minds, hearts, and eyes to others on the journey, so we benefit from their perspective and contribute to their lives in meaningful ways. Crucially, most white Americans, for most of American history, have never taken a tour of their own cultural and racial identities. They have never had a guide point out details or give meaning to them. Just as crucial, most people of color, for most of American history, have had to negotiate multiple and sometimes competing narratives. They've had to define themselves in relationship to one community and to assert counter-definitions in relationship to another community. The hopeful assessment of this reality might be something like this. God has been preparing people of color to help white people understand that white is a color and white people have a culture. This is a crucial mission because when white people fail to understand this, they often do alarming damage to people of color. American history is filled with examples. We desperately need to be led by a skilled interpreter, a guide who knows the terrain and the stories hidden there, someone sensitive to the human heart, to their own heart, and the heart of others. The Lord has graciously gifted my sister, Dr. Michelle Reyes, with a heritage, upbringing, education, and gifts to serve the church as a much-needed guide. She will tell you her story of being a tweener, someone not quite at home in the multiple cultures she navigates. From that perch, she helps us escape the black-white binary to see more of the kaleidoscope of identities we share and experience. She will bring to bear the Bible, theology, sociology, and history. Those who listen to her guidance will begin to see themselves differently and to interact with the world more effectively. As I read this book, I became aware of how few guides we really have in the church. Further, I became aware of how rarely we listen to the handful of guides we do have. This twofold problem makes this book both rare and urgent. It makes reading and applying this book both necessary and an act of repentance. Michelle writes with a prophetic clarity we need to heed. Those who heed this calling will find hope and help from someone who has been experiencing and thinking about who we are, our stories, and the possibility of a deeply informed, justice-loving, gospel-motivated, apostle-imitating, multi-ethnic unity all of her life. It's time we end the centuries-long, countrywide commitment to whiteness as the standard for culture, identity, and meaning, and begin a lifelong pursuit of discovering what it means to have the Imago Dei as the standard for culture, identity, and meaning. It is past time to take off the old man and put on the new. It is time to embrace becoming all things to all people. This book helps you do that. Thabiti Anyabwile, Washington, D.C. Introduction. Commit to change. As an Indian American woman, I've learned to live my life like a chameleon. I'm constantly changing my identity based on who I'm interacting with, because more often than not, I am the sole Indian in a non-Indian space. I grew up in an all-white town and attended an all-white school. I've never been a part of an Indian community, and I've never been a part of the majority. Never. I'm a woman of color with a bicultural identity, and I can't escape my reality. My only recourse has been to learn to blend in seamlessly wherever I go. Being able to mold myself to the people around me is a unique skill. Even now, I instinctively withdraw when I enter a new space and ask myself, who am I? What do others want me to be?